Hello again, welcome to another episode of Northern Spotlights with me, Terry McStay. It's good to see you again. Now you might have noticed that a few things are different actually this time. So we're not in our usual studio, we're actually in the fabulous Customs House in South Shields because we're bringing this episode to you as part of the Microbusiness Unite conference, which is happening now, and Ian will tell you about that in a minute. The other thing that's different is we have three guests. Three for the price of one. So we have Ian Farrar from Far North, and also, as I say, the genius, the brains behind Microbusiness Unite. We have my colleague Claire Willis from RTC and from STEM Hub, and then we have Tony Robinson, who's the Oracle of Happypreneurship. Is that right?
That'll do.
That's right. That'll do. We also have, as I say, a live audience. Audience, can you let us know that you're all real? Thank you. So we're here just to have a chat, as we always do. So first, Ian, I'm just going to, we all know who you are because you've told us in a previous episode of the Northern Spotlights podcast.
Yep.
If you haven't seen it, then go to the website and find it. So we'll leave people to find out about you from that. But in terms of this, the microbusiness thing, how did that sort of come about, and why have you got this passion for it?
I guess in 2023, we founded the Microbusiness Alliance, so Tony, Jen and I and a few colleagues. I would say like COVID was probably something that was a real catalyst to that. Before that, we've been doing like evening get-togethers. We've been doing Pecha Kucha stuff. Can we say Pecha Kucha? Maybe we'll see.
I might get a letter from the Pecha Kucha Institute, but I'll pass it on to
you. So copyright, yeah. We did little happy presentations,
That's
can
right.
you say?
Yeah.
On an evening, which were really well attended, really good fun. And it was basically just sort of saying who you are, what kind of your business does. And it was like a pitch, wasn't it? Like a sort of mini pitches. And we did them in the brewery. Tony, you remember coming to the brewery? And we was getting together, and it was so much fun. I thought, we could do this on a grander scale. Let's do this for a day, which we did. And unfortunately, when COVID hit, what I found out was that we got used to not coming out again. We got used to not putting our bums on seats. We got used to watching things remotely on Teams and Zoom, etc. And I thought, no, we need to get back in the room. So that's why I put...
And is that a particular issue, do you think, for micro businesses? So when you've got one or two, three people, you just really miss out on those connections, don't you?
We've just been outside there and ran a workshop, and I'm watching the wind blow everyone's hair around and people with sunglasses and that. But they'll remember that stuff because we tend to do stuff a little bit differently. We aren't the sort of coffee and PowerPoint presentations. We'll just go off and do stuff. And what I feel about that is the community. We just had a little off-piste, let's all just pitch our businesses earlier on.
Yeah.
And it was so good. Just so bringing that community together, it's just so powerful.
Yeah. And you've had some great speakers today as well. So we've had Kim McGuinness, the Mayor of the Combined Authority, and various other people. But also, I think just letting people connect is really important, isn't it?
When Kim and I were talking, we talked about collaboration. I'm looking at Caroline here because Caroline's heading up the Shine project, which was a launch today. And that's what it's about for me, collaborating with projects in the region, all coming together with a greater good and saying, look, we're better than some of our parts. Let's all come together and let's kick this region right on.
Yeah, exactly. So I hesitate to use the word speaker because Tony is much more than a speaker, but one of the people who've been kind of sharing their story today and several times in the past is Tony. So Tony, tell us, you've got a long and colourful backstory. So in a couple of minutes, could you sum up where you've come from and where you're going? And also, you've got to tell us about the hat as well.
Yeah, well, basically, I've been campaigning on behalf of micro business owners and startups for over 20 years, trying to double the survival and thrive rate in England.
What is the rate currently? Is it scarily low?
It's hopeless. If it's like a Silicon Valley kind of thing where government has invested in accelerators and all those kind of things with loans and investors, it's down to about 10% that will survive the first 3 years. It averages about 35% in England. And the point about the happypreneurship philosophy really is that it's actually based on a lot of sound research that shows that 80% of startups can survive the first 3 years by just doing 5 things, really.
Right.
But you do need some help. So, for example, one of my campaigns is about paying 30 days kind of thing. So that has been to outlaw unfair contract terms. So big companies, the biggest companies, the FTSE 100 companies, they typically offer 45 days to 120 days, take it or leave it standard terms. And there's always a business that's going to take it. Now, the point is that not in the supply chain, because people actually say, it's all about supply chain. No, this is the fact that there is £30 billion worth owed in Britain to all the businesses, of which 95% are micro businesses, over 30 days.
Right.
And the majority is actually over 60 days. And that's because of these biggest companies with their unfair contracts. So Liz Barkley has been one of the big speakers, etc. It is not within her remit to do anything with those large companies. Do you see the problem? So what she's actually doing is, by creating codes and voluntary things, is to change the culture in Britain. Whereas I'm on the other side, I'm saying, look, this is outrageous. Government shouldn't give all the furlough money to large companies during COVID unless they pay all their suppliers during 30 days. Yeah. So that's an example of my campaign. Otherwise, I'm just a business owner that's been running my businesses with my business partner for 45 years now. So that's absolutely great. But what I'm more known for is the campaigning.
And that's that one thing. I mean, say that changed overnight.
Yeah.
And it was outlawed that that it was more than 30 days. I mean, what difference would that make to?
Well, it's huge, because obviously, if you're a startup, for example, you can't afford to decline any business. So it doesn't matter where it comes from, basically. Now, let's say you take it from Ian's business, Far North, and he's waiting for payment from a large engineering company, if you like. Then he has no option, because he's got to pay Misha and Luke's salaries, to actually say to me as a startup, sorry, I've got to pay you when I get paid.
Mm.
So it
flows through the chain.
Absolutely. So you're actually talking about, between 500,000 to 1 million startups are now in a cash flow positive position, and avoiding debt. Because what happens if you've got is you take a loan, which of course the banks love, and everybody, all the lenders love the fact that they're selling loans to cover you. But once you're in debt as a startup, it's really, really difficult to trade your way out of it. So it would be instrumental, for example, just take one group, 500,000 to 1 million startups every year. It would at least double, getting that cash flowing positively would at least double the survival rate, just that one thing.
And of course, each of those startups could then go on to be
Absolutely.
bigger and bigger, employing lots of people.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is that we've been talking about, Mitali's been talking about, is the fact that actually micro business owners are not, because it's their name. When I started my business, somebody said that the most important thing to them in starting a business and running a business was never have to cross the street to avoid somebody. And business owners are actually best practice, aren't they? They do want to pay quickly. We've always paid within 14 days, We pay immediately if we can. And that's the same with Ian and probably everybody in the room. They'll pay as soon as they can. So if we get the opportunity in our community to pay quickly, we'll do it. It's when one of us is deprived by that because of their customer.
Yeah. Now, you're talking about startups and starting a business, and that's something you're passionate about, Claire, in terms of encouraging young people to do that. So that's quite a key part of your role within RTC, is that right?
Yeah, so we work specifically within STEM, so science, technology, engineering and maths in the northeast and actually in the Yorkshire and Humber region now as well, through several programmes. But actually one of those programmes, which was launched a few years ago, was an innovation challenge. We've got kids in schools now making things and actually making money out of making things that they're selling to their friends. And
the ultimate microbusiness in some respects.
yeah, and making more money than me sometimes. And I actually didn't see that as a career choice, being an entrepreneur. And the only reason that it was on my radar was that my dad set up his own business. Right. So I kind of saw that as being at school, actually I could set up my own business because I saw my dad. It was, it was
normal for you to.
Yeah, it was in the family, and I had that support. Whereas a lot of our young people don't come from those backgrounds, don't have that support network. They maybe actually put off, oh, what do you want to do that for? Where's the money in that? I didn't do that. I did this.
Go for a safe option.
Yeah. So, the work that we do in STEM is really just to showcase what opportunities there are in the region. Our young people do not have to go to Bristol, London, Manchester, Blythe, all the stuff going on at Dogger Bank, all the renewable sector, all of that stuff, all that great work, the engineering companies we've got in our region, the digital transformation companies we've got in our region, the creative industries, they can educate themselves in this region and get fantastic, well-paid jobs. The disjoint is that they don't know that those jobs exist. And some of the jobs that will exist, there's some jobs that don't exist now that will exist in 10 years' time that we don't even know what they are. Yeah.
So tell us about STEMfest, because I've been to, and it's amazing. So paint us a picture. Because there's one, so where are we now? June 25, and you've got a couple coming up. So what could people expect if they get involved in that?
Yeah, so what's important to us is that the young people get the opportunity to go to these events. And they see those businesses in front of them. Now, they can be micro businesses, SMEs, your big corporates. It's about showcasing the region and the opportunity. So we've got a fantastic space sector. So STEMfest tends to split itself over 4 zones. We've got about 50 companies registered. In the northeast, we had 3,000 tickets available, and they went in 3 minutes. So they were crazy. We don't charge the schools for anything, and we don't charge our industries for everything. So it is free at point of contact, and we get sponsorship from other organisations. It's important that the students see role models. So we do encourage young women to man their stands. We do encourage in industries with BME representation, so a diverse workforce. So our young people can see people like them.
Yeah.
In industries that they could go into, and it's hands-on, it's crackers.
I love the fact that the companies aren't allowed to have anything boring.
No.
It's got to be something exciting. So and I've seen some amazing things.
Yeah.
That,
we've
I can imagine if I'd seen that when I was a kid, it would have blown my mind.
Yeah, we've got a robot dog. So we have Balfour Beatty use a robot dog to go down and do mining, so in areas where you can't send a human. And it's about 100 grand's worth of kit. It's an expensive piece of kit. And I tell you, those kids absolutely love it. It's about inspiring and engaging the young people. And hopefully they will see an industry that they are interested in. And then the teachers will go away and build up that relationship with the companies that they've seen and get it integrated within the curriculum. Maybe they might go out and go and visit that industry, because some of our industries are very good at opening the doors and letting the kids in and seeing and breaking down those barriers of what that building does on that hill over there. So yeah, it's a crazy few days. We're doing Bradford at the end of this year, and what's important is we get to those communities and young people that just don't get that opportunity. So some of our, we pay for coaches to get students there, because actually some of these young people are in schools that they just can't afford to get the kids there, and they can't ask the parents because the parents can't afford it. So we get a lot of schools coming to us to say, we'd love to come, Claire, but can you pay for our coach, you know? So we've got so Cummins are one of our major funders, and they sort of ring fence an amount of money that will go and support these young people to come to events such as STEMfest.
And do you, I know it's probably difficult to track what happens. Would it be great to find out about someone who came to one of those at 40 and 10 years later, they're doing something amazing? Because I'm sure a lot of them would be. In fact, there could be someone that you engage with, Tony, in terms of the work you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's tremendously important is to I call it like inspiration, really, and that's what we're trying to do, isn't it? Especially with young people all the time, because inspiration can lead to motivation, leads to action, and that's what we're trying to do. And it's not, you see, if you have a light bulb moment, it's not enough. You've actually got to inspire people to be motivated to actually do something, and that's what's happening, isn't it?
And I think in answer to your question, I'd love to track those kids. I really would, but I can't hands up say it was because of STEMfest that I now met this kid at 24 who went on and studied cybersecurity at one of the local universities and is now working for CGI, for example. I would love to do that. That longitudinal study would be fantastic, but I couldn't claim any of that was as a result of what I've done. But I often will bump into students who would go, "Oh, well, you were the woman that did this."
And you changed my life.
Yeah, but we are changing lives.
Because I've found through doing the podcasts where we've had, 12, 15 guests over the last 18 months. Often there's one thing that happened when they were at school. They met someone. I remember you talking about someone that you met who became a kind of a mentor when you were in an engineering company, and that sort of changed the direction you were going in, didn't it? Yeah. Quite significantly.
I'll tell you who did change my direction, my dad, because he told me I couldn't be a chef. He did. Was that your dream? Yeah, I wanted to be a chef. I used to like cooking. And he said, "There's no money in that, son. Get into engineering." And if you remember, I did get into engineering and I got straight out of it. So I was terrible and I didn't like it. It didn't. And just going back to Tony's philosophy about what makes you happy. Why was I doing something that didn't make me happy? And it's so difficult. We know this, if you never work a day in your life if you enjoy it. And I do. I love going to work. I love doing what I do. I've had a great day today and I get paid for this. So if you can get a job that does that, then wonderful. And I think this is what we need to say to our kids. Follow your dreams, like if you want to go and do that, it's not forever. Try it if it's for you. If not, move, pivot. Yeah,
and I think young people now are different to what we were when we were, because I think when I'm a bit older than you, but I think then it was right. You get a job or you leave school, you do an apprenticeship, whatever, and that's it. That's all you're going to do for the next 40, 50 years, and it's not like that at all. Yeah. Because I think your son's on his fourth career.
he might be, yeah. He's trained as a barber, and then then he's working with us. But again, you can do whatever you want to do. Tony and I are involved. I'm a vice president of the John Cracknell Youth Enterprise Bank, and we give test grants to young children who want to just try something. It might be a nail technician, it might be a personal trainer, whatever, and they might need 500 quid, 700 quid to start off. And they put a business case together, and we look at the business case and we say, Susie, off you go. And they try it, and it's so good. And you know what else? Old dudes like me, I probably like to say, actually, don't go and do that because you're not going to make any money, or there's this already in place, there's a nail tech down the road. They don't see barriers, they just go and do it. And actually, that's what you should do. Yeah. Just go for it.
Yeah, because what's the worst that could happen?
Exactly. Yeah. And you learn, if you fail, you learn from that job, and then you'll do another business, maybe another business, and then that could be the one. Yeah, we in the UK need to celebrate failure more.
Yeah, I'd be celebrating a lot if it was celebrated. Tony, you mentioned these kind of 5 things that would make a difference. So you've mentioned one of them, the paying 30 days thing. I mean, what are some of the other things?
Well, that's outside of the startup themselves. The first thing is bootstrap, don't borrow.
Right.
So these test trading grants that we give for young people to actually to test out starting the business. We first of all say don't give up your day job.
Yeah.
In other words, it's always best to start a business whether you've got other income coming up. So, I mean, for example, I did for 3 years, I did part-time lecturing and various things when we started our business kind of thing. And my business partner, Claire, she was doing like little freelance interim things for large companies and things like that, because you've got to have other income coming in. So beg, steal and borrow from family and friends and various things, but don't end up with a loan, or don't, put away that pitch deck until you've got a load of customers and you've actually proved the business model actually works. Because that's where most businesses get into problem. They get into debt very early on in the business. The second one is to test trade first, which we talked about, do it part-time, do it at market stalls. Jen has developed this lovely cafe in Scarborough, where we've got about a very successful cafe in its own right on the high street, but it also has 30 sellers test trading. And I think about 3 or 4 have actually gone on to set up their own shop, haven't they? So, they sell in the cafe, if you like, part-time and various. So test trade first. Third is your mentoring. Ask a business owner, ask somebody, especially in the same area. So if it's selling ice cream, ask somebody that sells ice cream kind of thing. Because customers are the most important thing. So you don't want a mentor that doesn't understand your customers. Always build multiple income streams, because the one thing you know about business is that one day you'll lose your best customer or your best client, or something will happen. The government will bring out a regulation which makes it impossible for you to continue trading in that area of various things. So never put all your eggs in one basket. And the big thing is, like with this whole thing that I do, is about doing something that you love and are good at. Because if those two things don't work, if you're not good at doing it, then you're not going to have any customers and business, but you've got to love it in order to deal with the ups and downs.
Brilliant. So Claire, I guess a big focus is on creating links between businesses and schools and young people, and helping to see that there are lots of careers out there and that could be on their doorstep. I mean, do you work with young people to encourage entrepreneurship as well, and encourage them to see that as a way forward?
Yeah, we've run a few projects, actually primary schools.
Really?
Because young people in primary schools are making career limiting choices.
Yeah.
They know what they don't want to do, and that's in primary schools. So I've spent quite a number of years in this sector in the Northeast, and we're still seeing the same story. We kind of let them in because of health and safety, and it's just like, you've got to get in front of them. So yeah, we do, and we did a pilot in Tees Valley where the children were just given, there you go, buy some cash, sell something, make something. It could be a service, it could be a product, and it was just fantastic. Fantastic, the stuff that they came up with, and had little media campaigns, and this is primary schools, so yeah, we do, and we work with the secondaries as well, around that sort of innovation, because the country needs innovation, and it's no holds barred, particularly with your primary schools, of what the opportunities are. There's that they do tend to think out the box, and they're not restricted as much as secondary pupils might, because it's not cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Ian, you've got an amazing range of companies or people who are here today and with the last 2 days. I mean, is there a value, do you think, in mixing people up? From very, very, because I can see across to some various logos and things, and you've got a bit of everything here, haven't you?
Yeah, you often say your network's your net worth, but it really is, and I'm so blessed with my network. We've had 2 days of friends coming up. Really, we've had Liz Bartley here yesterday, a small business commissioner, talking in this room. We've had one of the directors from the HMRC came and had such a great conversation. We've had Ian from Hull, who's the chair of Microbusiness. We've got Tony coming visit us today. We are just leveraging our network and getting our friends together and building this community. it's so powerful. It's so powerful. But you're right. It's a bit of a melting pot, as you see. You've got different people that come from different walks of life, but they all can help one another.
Yeah.
You know.
But you have to put yourself in that position first, don't you?
You are dead right.
You need to be. I guess you need to be in that environment and be prepared to make those connections to actually get the benefit, don't you?
And keep an open mind and come. You know, it's so easy to say, actually, I won't go to that event today. You know, you might sign up on something like Eventbrite and go, actually, I'm going to go to that event, and then actually think, oh, I'm not going to bother. There has never been a waste of time going to an event. I've always met somebody, had a good conversation, caught up with an old friend. That there's always something. It doesn't always have to be money, you know. It doesn't always have to be you have sold something or got a lead. And that's something we often say is, how many leads did you get on that conference? Well, I wasn't going for leads. I was there to create relationships, have a good time, meet people, be inspired.
So we've got an audience. Well, we've got an audience of hundreds here. We've got an audience of thousands, or if not tens of thousands, on the podcast. So for the three of you, I'm going to ask you: is there something you would like to say to those people? Whether that's something that you think they need to know, or something that you want them to do, or something that you're just really passionate about that you need the world to hear.
Oh, I'd go with.
Well, we're just. Are we all? Have we all got something?
Yeah.
I'll grab something in a second.
You'll get inspired. Let's hear it again, audience. We've got an audience of hundreds here today. We've got an audience of thousands and thousands of subscribers. And while I'm on the subject, please do subscribe to Northern Spotlights, because it means you'll get to hear about every episode as it's coming up. And do click the like button if you've liked this episode, which I'm sure you have. So I'm just going to give you the floor for a minute or two, each of you, to tell these fabulous people and all the fabulous people watching something. What is it that you want them to know? Tony, do you want to?
Well, see, I'm wearing this hat. I think it's the appropriate thing, and I mentioned it earlier. Is John Lennon's words, which were, imagine all the people living for today. And all of the people around my hat that I've run 18 half marathons and 5 marathons for in the last 10 years all died between the age of 27 and 57. And one of the things that is so sad is really that people don't actually get the most out of every day. About 12, 15 years ago, I made the decision to go on a year's sabbatical and just like re-examine what we were doing and how we were doing things and various things. And I actually have managed to do that, is to live for today, every day, and just think how lucky I am. And I think that's so important. And it's like what you've said earlier, both of you, is all of us really have said about the fact about that inspiration to motivation to action. You've got to take that action. Take that action on a daily basis. Don't spend time thinking about it. Test trading. Do you know what I mean? It's like getting the most out of that day. Yeah. And so that would be my thing.
Good. Interesting. And a few hours ago, we had Mark Deeks had us all singing, and that was, I think, for me, that was all about just forget your inhibitions. We're all friends together. Just grab the moment and just go with things.
Well, actually, that leads on to what I was going to say, because I think perfection's the enemy of good. Okay, now you might not be the best singer. I know you are a very good singer. I'm not the best singer. But I'll give it a whirl, okay? Because I don't have to be perfect. Nothing doesn't have to be. And I think sometimes we can get stuck up in that, where we think, I can't release that product or that service, or even just start the podcast. If you remember, I often say, for there to be an episode 300, there had to be an episode 1. Just start something. And you never know where those moments will take you, because, I've met so many people along that journey who put me in touch with them, and then I'm over here, and then I'm meeting that one, and it just starts. Just what Tony says there, take action. And without thinking where that will actually get to you, let that journey go. Don't think where it's going to go, just start.
Yeah, nice words. Claire, what's the message you want to get out there to everyone?
I think it ties in, with what's already been said. I think, do what you can. I'm sure people have got children, grandchildren, there'll be a school down the road. However small it may be that you're a governor of a school. It may be that, your daughter's come home and said, oh, Mum, they're wanting to speak to you, they come in and you work in the NHS, would you come in? Just an hour. We through our STEM Ambassador programme, we only ask for one activity a year. So that could be a careers talk. Go in and talk about yourself. You'll not be their teacher. So they'll listen and you cannot beat a 7-year-old asking you, how much do you make and what car do you drive? So it's just such a wonderful experience you just feel like you come away and you go, do you know what? I think I've made a difference, and even if you switch the kids off because, well, I don't really want to do that, I don't want to be an engineer, that's equally as valuable because that child may then decide, do you know what, I was thinking about it, not so sure that's now what I thought it was, but actually I've seen something else that I could do. So I would just say, do what you can, give back, however small it may be.
Yeah. So we'll put something in the description or the comments about how they can get in touch with you this week.
Yeah.
So any business out there really of any shape or size can be part of can be a STEM ambassador and inspire some kids. Yeah. I've done some sessions with the schools and I don't know, there's such an energy. If you're in front of a room of 10-year-olds, 30 odd of them, you can't help but, kind of get energized and come away thinking, that was really good. So I can certainly recommend it. Well, some wise words there from our 3 fabulous guests. So I think we'll wrap it up there because we've got something else to come. We're not quite finished yet. So a huge thank you to Ian and to Claire and to Tony and to you guys for being a fantastic audience. So this has been Northern Spotlights from the Customs House in South Shields. I'm going to do a little plug for the Customs House because it's a fantastic theatre. Their pantomime is the highlight of the year, and actually one of the other guests we've had on Northern Spotlights, Alfie Joey, was in the pantomime last year, Mother Goose. I don't know, do you know what it is this year? 2025?
Aladdin, I think.
Is it Aladdin?
Goldilocks
and the Three Bears. If I haven't booked your tickets yet for me and the family, I will be soon. So the pantomime is, you don't know what funny is until you've been to the Customs House pantomime. Anyway, that's all it's good for them. So this has been Northern Spotlights. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I had a great time with these guys and with our fabulous audience. And do join me again for the next episode of Northern Spotlights.
I can't believe the audience had a chance to say, oh no it isn't, and then they didn't. I was like,